Hi and welcome back to Coco and the Muse. I'm Tiffany and this is my darling little friend ALI, and some of you who follow the channel will remember Denise. She's the one who's usually with me. So Denise is usually on my chemical peel needling videos, and this is her beautiful daughter, and she will be in a lot of the upcoming videos. So today we're going to be talking about something that might be kind of uncomfortable for you women.
In more ways than one.
So in this video, we're going to be talking about UTIs, urinary tract infections, or more commonly known as a bladder infection. We're going to be talking about the myths, the cures, and as a female, I have suffered from UTIs since giving birth to my first child in my middle 20s, getting antibiotic after antibiotic. The UTIs progressively got worse over the years. I finally decided that there had to be a natural way that I could deal with a UTI. What did they do before antibiotics? Spoiler alert, it is not cranberry juice or cranberry pills.
Okay, so for me, I'm very lucky I have not had that issue growing up.
How old are you?
Knock on wood. I will be 28 this year. Growing up, I always thought a UTI was an STD.
It is not a sexually transmitted disease.
So it's also not something that women should be embarrassed about, because I know so many people are so scared to, talk about that. I wish that women felt more comfortable, because like you just said, it's not an STD.
It's not.
It's not something that we need to be embarrassed about. So I kind of would like to go into some questions that I had, just not knowing.
Absolutely.
Not an STD.
Not an STD.
Not from having sex. Oh, it can be. Okay.
Okay, so basically a UTI, we're just going to call it UTI, it's a urinary tract infection, is basically just an overabundance of bad bacteria living in your bladder. It's not in your vagina or your uterus, it's in your bladder. So signs of a UTI, the first thing is usually there's pressure on your bladder. It feels like you have to pee. And that's a normal feeling. When you have to urinate, you're going to feel like you have to urinate. But then after you urinate, you'll find that you still feel like you have to urinate. The thing of it is, you have an overabundance of bacteria, and every time you urinate, you do flush out some of the bacteria.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they say drink a lot of water. And number two is when you start urinating, you'll start feeling a burn when you're almost done. Okay, then it's getting good. When you wipe, if there's a little bit of blood and you're not on your period, it's like, uh-oh,
something's up.
And it's really important to address it, because that bacteria can go up into your kidneys and cause a kidney infection, and you don't want that. And your urine will actually be really cloudy.
Okay, so that's another sign that
cloudy urine.
Do women only get them, or can guys get them?
Guys can get UTIs. It's not that common. Probably because you have a longer, it's a longer trail for that bacteria to crawl. They'd rather crawl up ours. I know this is very strangely scientific, but the bladder can tilt in different directions and the urethra doesn't close off as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's often why women will get more UTIs after having babies.
So that's what started
started mine.
So another question that I've heard kind of everywhere, can poor hygiene cause a UTI?
Yeah. So washing the outside is really important, and not causing a lot of moisture and heat. So cotton panties, girls, as ugly as they are, can really help, because you want to keep the area as cool as possible, because heat breeds bacteria. There are things that I have noticed if I don't do, I will get one. And if I continually do the things to avoid one, I don't get them. But I get lazy, so I still get them. So number one, doctors always ask you, it's the first thing they ask you, do you urinate after having sex? That is key. So if you are sexually active, girls, it is so important to urinate after having sex. A lot of sugar, sadly, breeds bacteria in our whole entire body. So
which don't be eating a lot of sugar anyways.
Don't be eating a lot of sugar.
That's all.
Anyway.
It's 2021. We're healthy. We want nice skin. That means no sugar. That means drinking lots of water. And we don't want UTIs.
I know sometimes you've got to take an antibiotic. Sometimes there's no other way,
Okay.
but I have found that I have not had to take antibiotics in 3 years, and I've gotten rid of them, gone. And now every time I get them, they're not as bad. So here's the thing. When you take an antibiotic, it's gonna kill most of the bacteria. Now, the bacteria that lives in your bladder attaches itself to the walls of your bladder, and it creates something called a biofilm that helps a lot of them not get washed away. So it's like some of those little bacteria are just sitting on a raft in your bladder, just hanging out. A lot of them become more resilient. So you'll find sometimes 2 or 3 weeks later, you've got another one. Thing number 1, easiest thing of all, wash the bacteria out of your bladder with a lot of water. Water is key, super important. Number 2, this one blows everyone's mind, and I gotta tell you, I have so many friends who have come to me when they have UTIs and they're like, I don't know what to do. Now, I am not promoting anything, I'm not sponsoring anything. I'm just gonna show you the ones that work for me. I'm not selling this, you can get whatever you want. But the brand that I found that I love the most, it's Eucora. So this one, if you have literally a full-blown UTI, when I get a full-blown one, it's like a lemonade you put in your water. And I do this twice in one day. And then on the next day, I do it twice again. And then about 2 times a week. And they taste really good. So this has a real high dose of the D-mannose, which dissolves that biofilm. Stuff works great. I don't take these on a regular basis, but after I have had a UTI and I know it, then I'll start taking these about 1 or 2 a day. And I get a full-blown UTI. That's thing number 2 of 4. Thing number 3 is, believe it or not, Alka-Seltzer. This is my cranberry juice.
Awesome.
So cranberry juice has a lot of citric acids, things like that.
So
There's
they come with 2
2.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I do
2.
both of them.
Cool.
I do both of them in water, and then you're getting your water too. Before I go to bed, boom. Okay?
Awesome.
That really has helped as well. And number 4, this is it, guys. Colloidal silver. Bacteria, fungus, virus cannot breed in a silver environment. I do when I get a UTI 3 times a day. I spray my mouth. Literally, I gargle it, hold it under my tongue for about 3 or 4 minutes before I swallow it. That way it can go sublingual, it can get in my throat if I have any bacteria or virus growing in my throat. Colloidal silver, this is the brand I love. It's the highest concentration. I believe it's 2,000 or 3,000 parts per million.
2,000.
2,000 parts per million without glasses. 4 go-tos: water, Alka-Seltzer, D-mannose, and colloidal silver. I'm just sharing with you in case you ever get one.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen. I still have hopefully a lot of life left to live.
This doesn't work within the first 3 or 4 days. You know, you don't want to risk getting a kidney infection. For sure, get your butt to a doctor.
Yes. Like she said, if anything is going wrong down there and you are worried, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor.
I never suggest somebody doesn't. I personally don't. Thank you so much for joining me on our first YouTube together. Hopefully we'll have Ali on more and more videos.
I'd love to be.
Because I think it's really important, even though this is a beauty channel, it's also a channel on a lot of other things that deal with health and wellness and just things that women in general deal with. It's just a very personal channel for my mad scientist experiments and things that I've found. You have to start at this age. Like, really, you need to start young if you want to keep your beauty. I had to work way too hard to just not look 80.
This is not even a suggestion. This is just something that has helped Tiffany in the past. So if anyone uses it and feels like they want to communicate with us and tell us that it worked, or if it didn't work, please let us know.
I would love to hear your comments, and keep the mean, nasty comments to another channel, because We're not telling you to do anything. We're
Yes.
just showing you.
Just showing what has worked for Tiffany.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys soon on our next video.
See you on the next video. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you can get notified of our upcoming videos.
Thanks.
Bye.